evening, good afternoon, and good morning to our audience, and welcome to the Filmmakers Journey Roundtable, a roundtable discussion where we invite guests from the filmmaking industry at all levels to chat about our experience and what it's like disappointing all our parents. I'm your host, Nathan Han, a not-so-young producer who decided to join the filmmaking industry at a much later stage in life. So, join me as we take a beginner's perspective into the wacky and wondrous world of filmmaking. Joining me today are our two guests. First, Lauria Wu, a stunt actor who's been in the industry since 2016 with films such as The Prosecutor, Bursting Point, and Cold War III. Then we have Albert Leung, action actor and stuntman since 2007 in films such as Twins Mission, Cold War III as well, and Twilight of the Warriors, Walled In. He also recently co-directed with his twin brother, Albert Leung, his film Stuntman, which recently debuted in cinemas. Welcome to the show.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Okay, so as you may know, the first question we always ask in our episodes is, what is your favorite movie of all time?
Do you want to go first?
Yeah, sure. Fearless. I actually have one more, but yeah.
What's Fearless?
Days of Being Wild. I really like the way Leslie portrayed the characters, the mood and everything. It's really good. I really love that movie.
Okay. Lauria?
I don't have a specific favorite one that I love of all time, but there's so many because there are just so many good, pieces out there. But if we're talking about action movie, I think a lot, for example, legendary. Police Story was really good, Rush Hour, and then there's Kill Bill, and there's a lot of, so many different ones. In Japan, there's Rurouni Kenshin. All of them are really good.
Okay. I think I've come across, we've done this a couple of times, and it's usually, you can never tell which one. I think there's a spectrum of films that you like. As our viewers know, my favorite one is Shrek. All time, I think it's just the best film. Next is, I'd like to ask, what got you into stunt work?
What got me into stunt work? I guess it was, I got brainwashed by the 80s action movies. That's pretty much it. I've watched Police Stories and What was that English name?
Plan A?
Plan A, was it? Countless. More than 100 times. And then I remember when I was in high school, me and Herbert shot an action short film. The reason behind it is because we had a May Fest. So it's a week where a lot of students, you can volunteer to do short skit around corner in the school. And we don't want to do live short skits, right? So we figured, why don't we just do something different? And we want to shoot an action. And then it was a 30-minute short film. And then that's basically started how I loved.
I'm assuming that in high school, when you did the projects, other students that were doing short skits, they would do these slice of life or these introspective pieces. And
yeah.
I know when I was in high school as well, I fell into the trap. I wanted to do a zombie film, but no one in my group wanted to do it with me. So we ended up doing this artsy, I didn't even know the word, Munchausen by proxy, which is when you're jealous of your kid. And this is about this kid that got all the attention. The mother got jealous and killed the kid. And I was sitting there watching them storyboard and plan. I was like, I just want to do a zombie film, guys. We're in high school, come on. But I guess for you succeeded. You had Herbert with you, and you guys were both okay, let's just do action.
Yeah.
That's one thing I regret. I wish I had big plans, but.
Do you still want to do a zombie film?
No, I think it's a lot of work. I think if I did go into it, I think I don't know. It just seems like a lot of work. I don't know. Are you guys interested?
I would be. With action.
Okay. Maybe. I'll think about it. But yeah, no, I totally feel you on being surrounded by classmates that maybe want to do a little bit more.
No, they didn't want to do it.
They didn't want to do it, right? And you were like, we're going to do it.
I lied to them. I'm shooting it short. It's going to be very quick.
Yeah. Oh,
Turns out not.
You said you guys started martial arts when? You guys like did martial arts back then, right?
I did martial art taught by my father when I was like eight or nine-ish. And then I was learning traditional kung fu, like Charlie Fu. But then when, Jet Li had his movie in the 90s, I want to do like wushu, right?
Oh, okay.
But then my dad didn't know, and then, well, at that time you don't know where you can learn wushu in Canada. And then when I got to university, there was like a Westerner who taught wushu at university, and then I learned like a year from him, and then from him I went to his sifu. And then who happens to used to train the Mongolia wushu team.
Would you say, I'm curious with as someone who doesn't know much about the various martial arts, I think like I briefly did it when I visited my grandparents up in mainland China. Is there specific types of martial arts that you should learn if you're getting into stunt work and action work? Or is it very, very distinct? Or you can, as you said, what you learned with your dad can translate into future martial arts action, or you should use wushu, or is there a differentiation?
I think you should learn more than one,
Okay.
for sure. If you're Asian, I would recommend you to learn either wushu or any one form of traditional martial art with weapons.
Okay.
Because broadsword, straight sword, spears, or staff, those are the basic you have to know. Like if you're in Asia, if you want to be in stunt work, there might be a chance you will work on like a historical piece.
And you need to know.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. So some hand-to-hand and then some weapon work.
Yeah.
Okay. What about you, Lauria? How did you get started?
I got started because of a few friends told me about the stunt training in Hong Kong that was held in 2016. But before that, I was in the States and I started off with dance production. I wanted to be a dancer before. And then during high school years, aside from dance, I also did martial arts in Shaolin and line dancing. I didn't really actually know what I was getting myself into. It was just a community youth group that I attended after school, and that's what we did. And during New Year's or whenever there's like grand openings, we would go out and line dance, and that became a part of my life in my teenage years. And then after I moved to Hong Kong, I was still active. I went to take tricking and kickboxing with two different trainers, and coincidentally, they were both members of the Hong Kong Stuntman Association. And they said, hey, there's this, training coming up. Would you like to try it out? I mean, like, you sort of have a camera face. I do like acting. I have like this, I like performing. Yeah, I'm like all about performing arts. So they're like, yeah, try this out. You're, active and you like to move, and so you might like this. And I thought, well, that's really cool, because I've always watched a lot of action movies growing up, but I never thought I'd get to be in it. That's like, wow, it just like opened a door for me. And then once I got into the training, there wasn't an audition. We had to do like a 1-minute self intro or we had to prepare our own 1-minute performance.
I screwed up on that one actually.
Did you?
Yeah.
Oh.
What did you do?
Well, you made it in, so you were good on other parts then.
Because the time when so here's a backstory. So in 2006, that's first time I had my movie in Hong Kong. They actually cast me in a role starring with like Wu Jing, Sammo Hung, Yun Hua, and twins. So that was my first big break. And then, but after that, there weren't any acting jobs for me. And after 10 years, I returned to the film industry by taking the Stuntman Association training course. Okay, they said you're going to train new stuntmen. But to me, it was kind of like a stepping backward for me.
Right.
Because the training course is supposed to be for people who hadn't been in the film industry before.
Right.
But then by that time, I'm already like in my mid-30s.
Were you walking in like kind of like, I know the most? Or is it
No,
kinda
no.
like, okay.
I walk in there knowing I lost half of my moves. Because I had an injury doing like Thai boxing training. I actually injured my wrist, and it didn't heal until like 3 years later. And that's when I also stopped gymnastic and tricking. And then after that, I just lost most of my moves.
What is tricking? I know that's a dance term.
It's like doing flips. It's a little
Right.
similar to free running, but not exactly,
Is it like b-boying or no? It's not.
No, b-boy.
It's nothing to do with dancing.
No,
It's
nothing
not
to do with
dancing.
dancing.
It's
Okay,
more
tricking is
flips.
more.
Flips, kicking.
Right.
Flips.
Okay.
Like fancy kicks with flips.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Is that's something that also okay? I didn't know that I was tricking. I was like, but okay. So you injured yourself and then.
Yeah, from a Thai boxing training, and then I just stopped training completely for like at least 4 years,
Right.
and then I just lost most of my
Right.
physical abilities.
That
So-
sounds. Sorry.
Sorry. So go ahead.
Yeah, it's sad.
Yeah, it's devastating. Yeah.
Yeah.
But it's also like somewhat like a reality for like stunt acting people, because this industry, like I would say, it lures you in because it's so attractive and it's so much fun, and you finish this piece and it's like wow, but then there's not enough work to keep you in it.
Okay. I do want to hear how you guys did, because you were mentioning about that you have to create like a 1 minute for the training course. So it isn't just you just apply and you're accepted. You have to
Audition, yes.
You have to audition.
Yes, and then I think we had like 100, around 100 or so people that came for audition, and then finally they chose around like 30.
Whoa.
And I think only around like 17-ish, if I remember right, 17 graduated.
And only about 5 to 8
5 to 8 that
really work
sustained
right
in
now.
industry.
Oh wow! So
Yeah.
from 100 down to 5 to 8.
Yeah.
So what was your
The-
audition?
the
I want to hear
performance?
yours because you said you messed it up. I want to hear what you happened there. But what did you do?
My tryout, let me try to recall. I added dance element in it, a bit of, just basic like kickings and punchings, and then just basically did a choreography that had a bit of everything just to show that I can do, this, and this.
Right.
But 1 minute is very short to, be able to show everything you have. Well, I mean, yes and no. You can, if you're really great, yeah, it could be like a very impactful 1 minute. I think I did okay, not bad. I think I got average. And then they also gave us a script that we had to learn on the spot. And then there was like a master that came over and did the act with us immediately to see our acting skills, whether we can pick up quick, whether we can act, and whether we can improvise on the spot, or like basically. Yeah, it's fun. It was a little bit. It wasn't too challenging. I was a little bit nervous because there were a lot of masters in seafood that we see on TV, and we know they're big guys. And
Oh, it's not just like one.
Yeah, they had a table, and it was like they were judging.
Oh.
Yeah, but
Im Chang-en was there. Like
Yeah,
Kim Wa-ping's brother
yeah.
was there.
so it was a little bit,
Do
I
you
was a
know
bit
going
nervous.
in?
Huh?
Do you know these people are going to be watching you?
Nope.
No.
You just
we
like, oh,
came
just
in
come, and you're like,
okay, wow, all right, let's take a deep breath and do this. Yeah.
what about you?
I did a straight sword form. I knew they were looking for more than just that. They were looking for people who can do flips and stuff. But at that time, I couldn't do it anymore.
Right.
Yeah. Like in terms of I can't do it anymore, it means my muscle, they don't have as much explosion and flexibility I used to have.
Right.
Yeah.
Because also I think like if you're going to performance, is it best to do like the big moves, or is it also to show like you know how to fall and all these kind of like, I know there's all other nuances in stunt work as well that you want to show off. How would you show off like this? Do you ever show off like the smaller things, or is it just big moves first? Flips,
usually the big moves that they look for.
I mean, it's like a one chance thing. You want to do your best.
You don't want to just fall like 12 times to show
I
different
actually
ways.
didn't know how to fall yet because I didn't get into stunt work yet. Because you mean like the audition?
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
So I got into the stunt training after I got, they accepted me.
That makes sense.
Yeah. So what I did was it was like half dance, half martial arts, sort of. Of course, there were like splits and high kicks and cartwheels and whatever I can do with like flexibility or, dance. And I also did Muay Thai, Thai box. So I added a bit of that. And it was just to show that, I can move, And then I think that kind of got me in.
So you said you did straight sword work.
Yeah.
What do you think, was it, because I know you said you were concerned because like you knew that wasn't the only thing they're looking for. Did you do anything additional stuff that helped you get in, maybe for other people that don't have the explosive strength that you're talking about?
I think they look at, because we also have to submit a form, and then they saw I've worked with Sammo Hung before, and I think that's also helped to get me in.
The experience, right? Because it's also not about like the skill set, but it's also the knowing how production works and having the experience working in production that helps.
Oh, they do want to see like what experience you have and like just to see your overall profile as well. If you have something, it's relevant to the industry or that looks good for it, then you might have a higher chance. I think because I also did pageantry before, and then they saw that I did that, and then I had like exposure experience before, so that kind of helped.
Oh, okay. Also, everything and anything helps. Working in any part of the industry helps anybody. So anybody who's looking into getting to stunt work, if you don't have the explosive power, or if maybe you haven't worked in the production industry, put the best foot forward, the best moves first, and then everything else can be learned later, right? So that's actually my next question is, if you were gonna give advice to someone who, let's say I wanna get into stunt work, I don't have the body for stunt work, but let's say I wanna get into stunt work, what is probably the first thing I should work on, or the most important thing I should try and develop?
First of all, I would say for guys, there's not really a size, criteria. I would say like we have someone, who's, around similar size.
Yeah.
And we're like,
size?
huh?
What do you mean similar size?
Like me?
Similar size.
There's stunt people like me?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, wow. Okay. All right. I thought you all had to be like.
They're perfect. They're perfect
okay.
to stunt double like Sammo Hung.
Oh, perfect. I should apply.
And I mean, when they do get a role, they stand out, and it's amazing.
Right.
But for girls, they do hope that girls do slim down because a lot of Hong Kong actresses are very slim.
Okay.
So me in the stunt industry in Hong Kong is not the biggest advantage because I'm a bit built, I'm a little bigger. Yeah, I am considering.
Oh.
Yeah, in the stunt
to
field. Yeah, because they're really thin or really slim. So it's a little hard for me, but I try my best. But for someone to get into the stunt work, for example, with no experience, start training. Look for something that they want to, look for your intention. Where do you want to be? What do you want to do? Like, where do you want to go? And then just find that path to get there and just do it. Just put in the action.
Just find that small niche that you can get really good at.
And be consistent, which I'm also still, I have a hard time doing that because I like eating. And we get a lot of injuries, and then we have to have a time where we have to, recover. And that kind of puts us behind,
Yeah, the overnighters, man.
Yeah.
I just hate overnighters.
Right, overnight work.
Common?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
For stunt work, it's still...
No, if you're like in your mid-20s, yes, you can like pull overnighters. And
but once you pass 30, it's like, all right, I need my sleep.
I need like 1 week to recover.
Oh, man. Okay.
1 week is fast.
So what about you, Albert? What would be like the most important or first thing you should work on?
3 things.
Okay.
I would recommend you to learn more than one martial art.
Okay.
Learn acting.
Okay.
And then the third thing is you should know some sort of production.
Right.
Like how the set runs.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like just would you say even working as like a PA or something on a set?
Yes. Reason being is I find that a lot of stuntmen, they don't feel comfortable around production set, meaning they don't know what the hell's going on.
Right.
Like they don't know what's going on, meaning they don't feel they're part of it. You see what I'm saying? Like if you feel you're part of it, if you really loved filmmaking, then you're engaged. You're not like just sitting in a corner playing with your phone.
Right.
The reason I say that because you don't want to be a stunt person forever, right? Eventually you want to move on to the next step. Either you're a stunt coordinator or action director or DOP or whatever it is. Because there's always a time limit being a stuntman with age.
Yeah, it's like an athlete.
Is the aim for most people that you've encountered to get into the acting side or more of the choreography side?
I would say a lot of Hong Kong stuntmen, most of them they just want to stick with stunt itself.
Okay.
Whereas like in North America, I've known a lot of friends who just, that's only a stepping stone. They want to be an actor or actress.
Or a director.
Or a director.
Yeah, stunt coordinator.
How I know, because on film set, sometimes when you're a stuntman, the AD would give you a line or whatever, but a lot of the stuntmen, they would shy away from deliver a line or be a character on the spot.
Yeah, they'd rather just be a stunt double, you know,
Why,
physical.
Why is that?
Some stunt people are like, not
Shy.
just stunt people, yeah, just people in general. They like to be in front of camera, and some people like to be behind camera.
Right.
So stunt doubles, and where they don't want to act, and prefer to just be, you know, the double and not be the camera face, right? Then they would prefer something more.
They want to. They prefer acting
yeah.
physically,
Yeah.
but not like emotionally.
Yeah.
Right, because for me, I thought like, you know, you go into this industry because, you know, maybe potentially you do want to be a director or an actor, which is camera facing, but you're telling me that majority in Hong Kong, they'd rather
Yes.
be more,
say.
stay with
I would say
stunts.
some, yeah.
Oh, okay.
Like I do know a few where they're like, no, I don't want to do like emotional acting. I'm not good at that, but they're really good at moving. They're like, I just want to move.
I just want to do a flip. I just want to do a
I
brick
just wanna
fall.
double.
Right, and is that good for the industry? Like you want people who focus on not being in front of camera?
I don't think there's a good or bad to it. It's just a personal preference.
Okay.
Yeah.
To me, I would say on a personal level, it's not good.
Okay.
Because as I was just saying, like with age, you want to do something more than just stunt,
Yeah.
right? For the industry-wise as well, because if you look at the current landscape, there is hardly I would say like a kung fu star, like a martial art star. Like back in those days, you have Jackie Chan, Sammo Hung, Jet Li, Donnie Yen.
Yeah.
They are from martial artists. They know how to act.
Right.
Like right now, you don't have one.
There's no that
There's like
young.
Tony Jaa or like
Yeah,
what's his name, Iwa?
like right now we have Philip Ng.
Okay.
But you know, after him, like there isn't really anybody.
You want like back in the day where you had multiple
Yeah.
young rising martial arts
And
stars.
even the stuntmen surrounding like Jackie Chan or Sammo Hung, the side cast, most of them are stuntmen, and most of them can act. Nowadays, you hardly can find stuntmen who can act.
Right. So that's what you hope more for the
Yes.
industry. It's just these young ones that are coming into the industry get into acting as well.
Yeah.
Because we need more.
So like, so for example, one of the problems that I had when I direct my movie Stuntman, because the story itself is evolving around filmmakers, like stuntmen. It's very hard for me to find actors who can do stunt as well, because there were numerous scenes require them to do stunt work. But if I hire actors, they can't do stunts. Or the way they throw punches, it doesn't look like they're stuntmen.
Right. you're just aching for that person that just can act,
Yeah.
but also knows how to throw and take a punch.
Yeah, so I actually spent a bit of time with the stuntmen, train them. Hopefully they can deliver the scene with the main cast.
Do you see that a lot? Same thing where, do you crave for more people to be in the industry that can act?
Yeah, because when we do double, we double the actresses, and then we're like, okay, come on, there are some scenes where we want to have your face and you doing the actual punch or kick, just so it can be authentic. So the audience will know that's you, not a double. Right. We want them to be able to, perform it. But yeah, it takes time, it takes practice, and it really takes whether they want to initiate to put that effort.
Is it a cultural thing? Like currently right now where the landscape of films and movies and who they want aesthetically up on the camera isn't someone like rugged, right? All these action stars, they were not like the traditional beautiful kind of slender male leads that we have sometimes these days in mainland films as well as Hong Kong films. People will criticize, male leads in Chinese dramas and stuff that are like unable to carry their female leads and things like that because they're too weak.
Yeah, if he was to carry me, he won't be able to carry me. I think I'd be able to carry him though.
Well, I'm thinking like, I call them like the K-pop look, where you have the
Yes.
K-pop slender, very not much,
Yeah. Not
more
masculine
feminine.
enough.
Yeah, exactly. And is that, can I start saying that? Can I tell people my theory is, I think it's just the audiences right now, they want the more slender, boyish look, which means that actors aren't putting effort into being strength.
I feel that, yes, the trend used to be swaying toward that, and I think eventually it will sway the other way.
Okay.
Because trend is a trend, right? When people get too much of it, they will get sick and tired of it, they will go back to the other side.
Yeah.
Yes, and I feel like because there are different styles of actors. There are the styles where they're like pop stars, like the K-drama ones, and then there's styles where they're like talented ones, and there are styles where they're just super authentic, So and there's market for all of them, and it's just for Hong Kong. It's a very commercial place, so they want someone who can, who has the face, who's tall, who's handsome, who meets,
Oh, okay.
who are the apple of, the audience's eyes,
And I'm guessing they would rather choose to have the aesthetic person and just bring in a stunt double.
It's a market thing. It's hard to say. It's like chicken and the egg.
Oh,
If you have, let's say Philip got into a good role, movie that he just excelled to another level, he might, become another Donnie Yen, become a superstar.
Okay.
Yeah, I feel like he's there, like getting there. He's
He's getting
yeah,
there.
like Andy On as well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I want to ask about Stuntman. What was the inspiration behind it? And walk me through, well, the second part is I want you to walk me through maybe how would you go to get such a big project made? Okay. I know like Stuntman, is it kind of like biographical almost? Because it is about Stuntman, yeah.
The project, actually we submitted to FFFI, First Film Funding Initiative, for a couple of times. And this is the third time. The reason why we succeeded this time because we have put together a solid team. So we have Stephen Tung, who is action director for a long time. Like, for example, like A Better Tomorrow or Hero.
Oh, Hero,
Zhang Yimou, Hero. He also did that.
Oh, okay.
So he's a big time.
Right. It's also getting names attached. And that was due to your time on sets and kind of getting to know people.
How I got tapped into him through Twins Mission director.
Right. Okay.
So I have been in contact with the director of Twins Mission for longest time.
Right.
Like he's my mentor.
Right. Okay.
And I'm really, really lucky to meet him, to have this person in my life. It seems like the past 17 years, people who I know through this journey comes together for this project.
Right.
For some reason. and everything just happened so quickly.
I did know that it took 19 days to shoot.
19 days.
Stuntman. 19 days. That
19
is
days.
crazy short time.
Originally, we had 26, 25-ish would be much better. But, you know, our production manager told us you don't have 19. I'm like, oh,
Are there
shit.
a lot of overnighters or you tried to...
So Herbert and I, we have to spend tremendous time rewriting the script and do a shot breakdown, shot list. Even though on set, we don't really follow the shot list because too many things happen and we have to change. But in the back of our mind, we already work out through the scene, so we know what we have to shoot.
Very, very leaning very close to the Wong Kar-wai way.
Yeah, in fact, we only have a week of prep before the shoot.
Oh, wow, okay.
We had like budget issues and we had to cut this and that.
Okay, well, on Stuntman, what was the actual, like, you wrote Stuntman, right?
Yeah.
So what was why that? There could have been many other things, like you said, you want to revive the action scene. Why not something, why Stuntman?
First of all, because I was heavily influenced by the 80s. And I really appreciate all the former stuntmen from like Jackie Chan team or Hong Jia-ban team that they have built this name, Hong Kong stunts, Hong Kong action film, this name for us and successors. But unfortunately, due like to various reasons like market changes and all that, actually it's lacking of successors. Not
Right,
enough.
like you mentioned before,
Yeah, not enough productions. So, what I think it's like, imagine Shaolin Temple. There's no monk who can teach Shaolin Kung Fu.
Right.
That's how I feel.
Wow, okay.
So, you know, if you travel around the world, even Hollywood nowadays, Michelle Yeoh's movie from last year, like Everything Everywhere All at Once.
Yeah.
Like you can see all those action sequences are like totally from the 80s.
Oh, okay, right.
So action film or stunts is flourishing in other countries, but not in Hong Kong. And that's one of the sad thing that, you know.
We made it. Like, I'm speaking as if I'm Hong Kong. No, like, you guys made it, sorry. Like, Hong Kong was the one that made all that happen.
Exactly.
Really
Exactly. It's just sad to see that going away.
Yeah, the lights dimming a little
Yes.
Oh, no.
So that's why in my movie, there was a scene. I have Steven to look at Bruce Lee's the statue. You know, we had a statue in Tsim Sha Tsui, right?
On the harborfront.
Harborfront.
Yeah.
Used to be in the center of the Star Avenue, but now it's like
They moved it?
Yeah.
they moved it to the corner, like right beside right outside the toilets.
Was it Starbucks?
Outside of
Is it
Starbucks.
Yeah.
And that's why I have a scene where Steven looks at the statue of Bruce Lee, because Bruce Lee symbolized the rise of Hong Kong action
scene.
flicks, right? And now I have a scene of him with Bruce Lee. Right now is the downfall of the industry. And if you know who Stephen Tong is in Enter the Dragon, remember Bruce Lee said, "Don't look at the moon."
Yeah.
That's the kid is Stephen Tong.
He's a great
Oh.
master.
Yeah.
Right, okay. All right. It's kind of like your little message to the world.
Like a metaphor,
Like, hey guys,
yeah.
it's dying. But there's still hope, kind of, to...
Well, yeah, I feel that like this year, Calvin Water City give us hope that audiences are still looking for really, really good action flick.
Right.
You know, I hope that investors are still willing to invest into Hong Kong action movie.
I did want to ask you also, you mentioned, because I didn't know about this, you recently were cast as not stunt work, but actually actress in The Prosecutor. I'm not sure, is it an action role?
It's an action role because I usually get all roles in as a madam or as an assassin or someone who can actually fight or hold a gun or someone who can do stunt acting. So yeah, if they have a role that needs a female who can do action, I just happen to fit into that role. And then yeah.
With this film, is this a new role for you in a position where you're actually in like an action actress rather than working as a stunt double or stunt work?
It's not a new role, but I get more new experiences from it.
Right. For example?
For example, as this madam, I was working alongside Donnie, and I'm part of his team in the police force. And there's a lot of, aside from admin work, there's like fight scenes where we have to have guns, and then there's different kinds of actions in there.
Did you have to tap into like more, because I assume you're more comfortable in the physicality of acting. Did you have to tap into more of the
emotional
that stuff? Or is it still quite action heavy?
A bit of both. I think there's a good balance. It shows the emotional acting as well as the physical acting. I do have to practice a little bit with the lines and what feelings and what emotions I should be in during in that place with this team of people and what's happening. I do have to practice a few times because like you said, I'm more experienced with the physical acting than emotional acting. So I just want to make sure I'm getting it right, doing the best I can. So I have like different ways of acting that scene up my sleeve just in case they want A or B or C, then I have it.
Which side do you prefer more? Do you want both?
I like both. I want to merge both. Like I want to do acting with action.
Right.
If I'm just doing emotional acting, I feel like it's not putting myself to the fullest potential, and it's not what I want to do completely. But if it's acting and action, then yeah, that fulfills me.
So we won't find you in a biopic about a writer in
If it's a really good role, really good
it's like no action whatsoever.
I might try it, but yeah, I prefer with action.
Okay,
Yeah.
all right. I want to get into more like the nitty gritty of stunt work, what it is day to day. First is, are there classifications of stunt work? Like differentiate like, oh, this is gonna be a really dangerous one, or this is gonna be a simple one. Like, is there a way or some kind of lingo you guys, or some kind of, I don't know, classification system where you can communicate what kind of stunts are doing?
There's no
I
system.
feel like, yeah,
right?
not
from a
exactly in
system,
Hong Kong. In other countries, maybe, yes. I was in UK and also in US. If you have to do a stunt that's a bit more advanced, like jumping out from a window, a building window from like 3 floors or above, there's like another amount that they would pay you. Okay. But in Hong Kong, there's none of that.
So it's just...
I think it's in the
In the US they do.
No,
in
no,
UK they do that.
No, in the HKSA handbook, I think they have something like I forgot how many floors. Above that, you can negotiate then the normal day rate.
Right.
Yeah.
But everything, it's generally just
General.
show up and
Just
then
general.
they'll tell you do this.
There's no
do this and
adjustment.
that.
Yeah.
Right. Then how would you, there's no like way you can advertise like, I'm not so great at falling downstairs. I can do jumps, but I can't do, is there any way of
So like the stunt coordinator, that you know each other, right? So
Right.
he kind of know what kind of stuff he can do.
Okay. And when you first work with a stunt coordinator, that stunt coordinator will come to you, or you'll go to the stunt coordinator and tell him like, hey, I can do this, I can do that, I can.
I think that too. And then the more you work with the stunt coordinator, like kind of like just making friends and
Yeah, the more
familiar with each other.
Yeah, they'll be like, okay, you can't jump out a window. I'm not going to make you do it.
Yeah,
or,
they won't.
Or okay,
They won't.
Right.
Yeah, they'll find someone who can do it.
Okay, but like
No shame in that.
Right, it's just
Everybody's
knowing.
different.
Yeah, right. But if you've been training and practicing, like, oh, before I told you I didn't like jumping out of windows, I can do it now, and he'd be like, okay, all right, you can.
Yeah.
You have to be honest about it though. Like tell them, yeah, I can do this, but you're like,
then
oh
you
my God. Like when you're on set, you're like, oh, I'm shitting my pants.
This is the thing. It's the trope of what I've heard where, you kind of, in acting, you kind of say that you can do these certain things, oh yeah, I can play an instrument, yes, I can speak certain languages, da 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 da. But it's like kind of overselling a bit. But with stunt work, you can't do that.
Yeah, you cannot do that. You have to be honest about it. If you can do it, then you can.
Have there been times where you might have made that mistake of
Actually, never.
No.
Never. You should never do that.
I actually be more conservative than I actually am. Even though I can do flips, sometimes I tell them I can't.
Oh.
Reason being is I know I'm not trying to skip work or anything, because I know my performance is not steady, it's not consistent. I might be able to do it today, but like on the day on the shoot, I might not be able to do it. So I'd rather tell them I can't.
Are you doing this, if let's say you do a couple flips, right, in the scene, how many times are you doing that flip, that sequence? Is it just like 2-3 times done? Or it's like
Could be 7 to 10.
It depends on all the departments. It could be you trying a few times, or maybe you can get it on the first time, but maybe the camera guy or like the lighting is not right and then you have to do it again. Or maybe, everything's ready and then you take like 10 times to do it and they're just like,
I mean, if I'm in my mid-20s, yes, I can do it. If you think I'm in my 40s, I can't. I can pull 1 or 2, but like for 7 takes, no, I can't.
Right. And as you, who's someone who probably, like, for Stuntman, working with stunt people, do you push them a bit like, hey, you can tell me all the things that you can do. I know you're trying to hide it, or you're like, oh, you say no, I'll respect that.
You've seen the way the person move, you know what they can do already. Oh. If I knew, let's say I've seen Lauria, I know she can jump off the first floor, and if today she tells me she can't do it, I respect that, maybe because today is not her day. It's possible, right? I'm not gonna push her, you have to do it.
yeah.
Right. Okay. So there's always in this realm of physicality, you kind of respect the boundaries.
Yeah.
They know their body.
Yeah, like this morning I wake up, I feel like shit. I can't do Sometimes you feel that.
What if on that note, if let's say you're contracted to work on this project and you wake up and you're like, oh shit, something's wrong.
Yeah, usually you have more than one person. You
have one. You just tell them like, look, I can't do it today.
Yeah, you usually have like in a movie you have a couple of them, right?
Right. Okay. Make that note, crew. When we shoot our action, we need multiple stuntmen just in case. Okay.
Sometimes we would evaluate like whether we can do, like, ask yourself like, okay, yeah, I'm having back pain, but can I still do this? Mm-hmm. If I can, I'll do it. I might be really sore the next day and I won't be able to get up. I'll go with my chiropractor, but if I can, I'll do it, right? And then, but if I really like 100%, I'm doing my best, but I really can't, I have to let the coordinator know, right? Because I don't want to affect the shoot. I don't want to affect the production because of, what I'm lacking on that day. Yeah.
Did you find with the on this note of stunt work on the set of Stuntman when you were co-directing it? Did you find, because I'm curious, you come from stunt world, did you have this affinity or want to lean towards the stunt department, or did you have to like mentally separate and be like, I got to take care of the whole thing? I can't just play favorites with my department.
I would make sure they are taken care of. I think that's already enough. Not ignoring them. Make sure they get their lunch, they get break.
Right.
Yeah.
Does the stunt department usually get the short end of the stick, or they're treated fine?
It really depends on the
Who's
production.
running the show?
Yeah, it really depends.
Okay, well, not naming names. We won't name any names, but you have been in productions where it's kind of like, dude.
I have been in productions where they actually turn off all the lights. Okay, so we had an overnight shoot, and then we were waiting for the ride to give us a transportation to another location. That's like already in the middle of like 4 a.m., 5 a.m. And they serve us like, I don't remember whether it was dinner or whatever. And then so all the crew is dismantling all the stuff around the area. And then they turn off all the lights. We were eating pitch black.
Oh, jeez.
Like indoor. Yeah.
How? How do you? They knew.
They took off the lights. They gotta move.
Oh, the crew, because they gotta
move too.
Right.
And then
what the hell?
Exactly. Like what the hell?
So every department is in charge of their own department. So
it's usually dependent on who would be the head. The stunt coordinator is the head of the stunt department. Who's the head of the stunt? What's the title?
Stunt coordinator.
So it's his job to be like, hey guys, turn on the fucking lights, or like my team needs to eat.
Yeah.
Right. Okay. Have you ever had anything like that happen to you?
oh yeah,
Just like, oh, okay, all right.
yeah.
What's the worst thing?
The worst. I don't even know what's worse anymore. Like, I would say worst would be in a very really dirty, abandoned, dusty place, and then you just have to stay there for the longest time and, just wait.
Hang around.
Yeah, just wait.
I do know it's a lot of. So it's the same with stunt people. I know actors. You stand around a lot.
Yeah, waiting
You just
is
wait.
like the worst part for me. Just waiting around because, I mean, we're in stunt. We like to move.
Yeah.
So making us like just sit still is like,
Yeah.
Yeah. And then my disorder is like kicking in.
No, the worst thing is you have been waiting for like 10 hours.
Oh yeah.
And then all of a sudden they say, hey, you guys are up now.
Yeah.
You can wait 10 hours?
Oh, yeah.
They've asked you to do that? Is that like common?
It's very common.
Normal. Yeah, it's normal in productions for stunt.
Okay. Maybe because like I work as the producer at the production company, and in my head I would just be like, okay, if we're gonna take 10 hours to set up, get the stunt people to come maybe 2 hours.
Yeah. Well, sometimes they overrun a little bit.
Oh.
And that little bit can be 10 hours.
Yeah.
A little bit.
Especially
Yeah.
big productions.
Right, because they're waiting for maybe like the big guy to finish their part, and then maybe they have something else they want to reshoot, and then they have to change the set or like,
Yeah.
just a lot of waiting.
What's the trick to do during those 10-hour waits? Just like you can't even practice, right? Because if you get hurt.
If you're just doing, well, it depends. If you don't have a character or a role that you need to act and you have your full makeup and wardrobe on, then yeah, you can.
Oh, okay,
technically. But if we do have a role and I've got my makeup, I'm all dressed already, and I'm just waiting. No, because I'm gonna be sweaty, right?
Yeah.
I'm gonna get all dirty, and that's gonna be bad. So
Sometimes
yeah,
you keep like small warm up, stretching, but then throughout that day you just get tired stretching by stretching.
There's also one thing that we usually do is we just observe what's going on set. Make sure you know what's going on. Okay, when they call you, you know what's going on. You know where they are. You know where you need to be. You know what you need to say. And yeah, you have to know what's going on with the lighting, what's going on with the camera, and just basically everything. So you're present. You're literally 100% present.
So there's a little tricks here. So for stunts, usually we stand in the background, like when there's like before the action scene breaks out. Usually we are like the what do you call 個打手啊?
Just to
Like
fighters.
extras and stuff?
No, well, kind of like extras, but like when the fight breaks out, we're the one who rush into the scene and start to do the fighting, right?
Oh, right.
But before that, all the key characters and actors, they do their lines, but then during that time, we usually stand at the back, right? So when you stand at the back, if the lens sees you in frame, most likely you're not coming back next week because they see your face.
Oh, you're
right?
exposed already. Yeah.
You're exposed already. So usually what we do is we're trying to stand at the back. So for sure, we're gonna get called back next week.
I didn't get to experience that.
Really?
Yeah.
So in Kowloon Water City, there was a scene I deliberately stood myself at the back, but because there was a stuntman who blocks one of the key characters because they were too tall, they switched me to the front
Oh, you
Because
didn't
I'm
get
short.
callback.
Because there's a camera like right here, the actor's right there. The tall guy just blocked his face, so they switched me out, so I'm just like a head shorter.
You're like, why? You have to
But
be
then
so
this
tall?
camera saw my face, like, I was like, oh shit, I'm not coming back next week.
Oh, well, thinking in terms of work, in Hong Kong, I mean, it was like, the golden, as some viewers may know, Hong Kong was the golden age of, martial arts and stunt work in the 80s and, the 60s and 70s. And even because of them, Hollywood is what it is now with their action movies because of Hong Kong. So being at probably the founding father of a lot of cinema, martial arts work and stunt work, is there a lot of work or is there not a lot of work for stunt work?
There's not enough work.
Okay.
Because Hong Kong is a very compact city. When there's like 4 to 5 productions going on at the same time, that is already considered as a lot. But that's still not enough work for all the stunt people to be involved.
In fact, the year when I first got into the industry, back in 2006, that's already in the midst of low film productions. The number of movies produced in Hong Kong already dipped in the trough. So used to be like, a couple hundreds movies a year. Yeah. By the time I got my foot in the industry, it's less than 20. Less than 20 movies. Now it's even less.
Yes.
Right. I know that, as you said, there was hundreds of pumping out. I know that historically it's also because, there was like the triads that had their toes dipped into the film industry, and there's a lot of production there. Do you think we want, because I do know that even back then though, what you ended up having was you had pumped out a lot of maybe like lower quality, not so great, it was like quantity over quality. Would you want to go back to those days where we kind of just push out these kind of films for the industry, or do you think it is better going in the direction of having less projects but more refined projects? Like, as you mentioned previously in other places, the Twilight of the Warriors Walled In was kind of like a beacon of stunt work. Which direction do you think it should go in your opinion?
I think a bit of both, because I feel like for, in terms of stunt people, like, the masters from like 60s, 70s, 80s, they're great. They're insanely great. Versus, I feel like in the past decade, the level of stunt technique in this generation is not matchable to their level when they were at their peak. So I feel like we want to keep that level if we can, train up more people, have new blood, and then, for ourselves as well to keep training and keep, improving and everything. But for instance, for stories, I would say, things are becoming more creative and, more innovative, and we want to have that, element in it as well. So yeah, it's a bit of both, I feel like.
Okay.
I agree with Lauria. You gotta have both. Reason being is if you have only the high quality films, only the top tier players will have the experience of doing the projects. But what about newcomers? What about people who are striving for experience and trying to climb up there? You're not giving those people having the experience, exposure.
Chances.
So I think you need a bit of both, like low to mid-tier productions as well as like top-tier productions. Then your market is cover a wide enough range.
I think it'll be healthier as well.
I would like to make Hong Kong better within that film industry realm, because like right now, Korean films or TV series, no matter how the story goes, like what kind of genre they shoot, people just accept it. They just eat it up without even a dubbed version. North America, Europeans, they would, I would like to watch the subtitling. But if you throw like a Cantonese show at them, I don't want to watch it.
I do think that there's this little pull back the curtain of Hong Kong cinema even today, and there's some like amazing stuff you'll never think about. The best example I give is always Infernal Affairs. Hollywood copied Infernal Affairs. Korea copied Infernal Affairs. I know there's a Korean version out there somewhere as well. But I think I do agree with what you said.
Because there's no point of trying to be Hollywood when you don't have that budget. You know, it doesn't matter how much you're gonna do, it's not gonna be better than them because they have larger budget. And you might as well just do what's best. And yeah.
Also because of the restrictions.
Right.
Yeah, there's not a lot of you know, like overrated things, like rated things that you can do.
Right.
So it limits.
In Hong Kong.
In Hong Kong,
Oh,
mainland
right.
Hong Kong.
Right. Okay.
So,
yeah. There's.
So I really would like to open doors with more like small to medium budget for either thrillers or action flicks. Like a majority of low budget productions in Hong Kong are more drama or artsy film. But those kind of film, it's really hard to translate to international sales market. Simply because if you're not a film buff, a lot of people, like general audience, don't want to watch like drama, you know?
True. Yeah. So for us in, let's say like video production, right? There's passion projects or work that we want to work on, and then there's, you know, work that puts food on the table, right? And for us, it's like corporate videos, doing thought leadership for, you know, PwC or whatever bank. CEO sits there, talks about how their bank is the backbone of the industry, you know, stuff like that. What would be the equivalent in stunt work? Is there like things that you want to work on, but there's things that you can do that you're just doing because you need to put food on the table?
Stunt would be jobs that are outside of film industry, put bread on the table, because simply there's not enough work to go around.
Right.
Like for me, video production, I actually do a lot of corporate videos and events shoot in parallel with my stunt work. But after COVID, there wasn't any more, so I just focus on film.
Right. So there's not really any like event/corporate videos of stunt work. It's just you gotta work on stunt work as your passion,
Yeah.
the projects you can, and then at other times it's just normal work.
Yeah.
Same for you?
I would say for me, I would want to do stunt work for as long as I possibly can, just because I love it, I'm passionate about it, and it's fun, I love it, I just want to do it, right? But when that's not enough work for me, I would fall onto acting. And if that's not enough, I also teach playgroups and English to kids. And then I also do MC.
Right.
Because, I mean, I don't remember when I started, but it just came. Like, yeah. And then I did a bit of event coordinating as well.
Right. So it's this whole, I don't know, I like to, from what I can tell, it's like this whole performance, but also production,
Yes,
kind of
exactly.
everything
Everything's-
adjacent to what you want to do. Right. So it's, so that's another thing is if you do want to get into this industry, and it's not just stunt work, but acting or film, anything like that, there's passion projects, and then everything you do outside of it needs to also somehow feed into that, right?
Hopefully,
Like, for example,
yes.
even like, you know, as you may not know, I was traditionally trained as a teacher as well. So I was meant to teach, but I didn't want to wake up at 6 a.m. So,
What do you teach? What do you teach?
so I went to HKU to teach English, basically. So I can teach English, but, you know, I just can't wake up at 6 a.m. For shoots, I can. Every now and then, if there's a shoot,
Exactly,
sure.
exactly.
3 a.m.,
Because that's
2
your
a.m.
passion.
Yes.
But every day I can't do that. But
it pays
there's
the bills.
there's a performative aspect to it, right? It pays the bills, but also like, you know, you want to go into acting, so maybe do some teaching on the side as well, because there is a performative part of teaching as well that you can always, you know, add into it. So yeah, so everything you do should feed into that. Okay, well, that's all the time and questions that we have. I'd like to first thank our guests for coming on the show.
Thank you for having
taking
us.
the time. Thank you. I'd like to thank the crew for making this all happen. And I'd also like to thank our sponsors, The Hive or The Hive Studios, for giving us the space and sponsoring this video. As they say in the film industry, that's a wrap. I'm your host, Nathan Han from the Filmmakers Journey. Good morning, good afternoon, and good night.
you.